Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, which is we are going for an absolute total war on Germany. We're going to start World War II. We're going to get started around 85 years early. Now, for this, we kind of have this save file where we already have Super Germany formed. There's a lot of videos on how to form Super Germany. There's a few content creators that seem to be racing for who can form the fastest Super Germany, and this sort of thing. This is not what this video is going to be about. Instead, we said to ourselves, who's the best country that hits a really high power spike that could probably go fight everyone simultaneously the fastest? And the answer is probably Prussia or Austria forming Super Germany and then going for it. And so that's what we're going to try and do today with the save file that we already have left over from our kind of stress test that we did for who's the strongest start type of thing. This is the Prussia stress test that we had achieved. We are by far the strongest country, although we don't have the biggest GDP, big sad. And what we're going to do is we are going to sort by prestige, and we are going to declare war on everyone who is the highest prestige possible until we have at least 10 wars going on. Although some of these smaller ones won't be that substantial, we're going to declare war on everyone possible and intentionally not resolve the wars and see if we can fight it out. This is not how you normally go high infamy. How you normally go high infamy, when you hit the turning point, you actually want to juggle having one of three things. You want to have truces with people, if you can, so that they cannot declare on you directly, specifically for the casus belli for cut down to size. You want to have truces with GPs. You want to have, obligations from GPs so they can't declare on you or join against you whatsoever. Or you also want to have humiliated GPs, which will prevent them from joining diplomatic plays against you. And in this way, you can avoid having to fight multiple GPs simultaneously. Looking for the humiliation CB, realize we don't have it because we don't have any rivals. And so this is something that you would want to go for if you were trying to do it properly. We are not going to try and do it properly. We're not going to try and acquire things like humiliations. Instead, we're going to do two things in this video. We're going to first prepare for war as best we can and talk through kind of the process that we are going through to prepare for as tough a war as possible. And second, we are going to do what we mentioned before, is we are going to declare on everyone and see how many wars we can get simultaneously and if we can defend. I'm guessing we can, but I'm not 100% sure. So this will be a little bit of a limit test, and also kind of checking and seeing if we can go high infamy as quickly as possible. I'm guessing you can do it from game start as France, but we're going to see a bit of the power spike that you can get with Germany and see just what that looks like if you look to translate it into a total war situation as quickly as possible. Although, if you're looking for that in a game, you should probably be playing Hoey, right? As our first order of business, we're going to be doing two things. First, we're going to merge all the armies together with one another. This can largely be done pretty easily by disbanding and then forcing them onto another army in order to get them kind of all set up together. And we're going to do this, but just double check that we kind of have some of our regional armies set and segregated away from our main armies that are going to be here in Germany. And then we are going to set about building up a bunch of battalions that we find useful for a variety of purposes, but we'll get to that when we get to it. The second thing is we're going to look at the ruin that is our principal group, which is entirely based around being diplomatically playing nice. We have colonial offices, which I think is one of the best because you get minus infamy, but if you're going to 1k infamy, none of this matters. Also, we have external trade, which is the entire point, is to get a bunch of diplo so you can get everyone to like you, but obviously we're going to attack everyone, so none of this matters. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to leave our block, and this is going to be the first thing, the first insult to other countries when we form another power block here. What we are going to do is we're not going to sweat kind of the details of what it's going to look like, because we can always change that later, and we are going to look to do a military treaty, because this is going to be a lot better for us what we're doing. The main big attraction here is going to be the training rate is going to be extremely nice, especially as we just wood chipper our own troops, but also we're going to declare war before the end of the year. We have a few months to recruit up, and this training rate is going to be really, really useful in that regard. For our principal group, we're going to choose offensive coordination. That way we get extra war gold maneuvers. Another source of this is the reckless character trait. I don't think we're going to be able to get that in place before we starting these wars, and that is definitely something you want to do when you want to turn the corner and go high infamy initially, but this is going to offer us kind of a one-stop shop for being able to declare an enormous amount of war goals from our opponents. Now, there is another technology, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in philosophical pragmatism, which gives extra maneuvers, and so texts like this are a good one to keep an eye on for if you are going high infamy, but we're going to set that in and then kind of come back when we have fully mixed up the armies and decided to start splitting them up into units that we find particularly usable. While our armies are reorganizing / upgrading, we will go for National Guard here, the first level of which will give us a half a conscription rate. We're on Professional Army as well, so this will represent a 50% increase in conscripts. We have a whole bunch of states, and so as far as edicts go, the edicts will give us 600% normal conscription levels, but we have too many states to apply all these edicts to, such that National Guard will really help us out a lot, although it will not give us, you know, the training rate that you would get alongside just using the edict per thing, and also it'll help a little with the revolution and secession and these sorts of things. So the first thing we have done is we have separated all the cavalry off from all of our kind of main front armies. Now, to be fair, the cavalry is not that much worse than the mobile artillery when it comes to being this early in the game. They're kind of strong early on. You see we have 30 offense, 20 defense versus 30 offense, 15 defense, but a much higher kill rate on the artillery. But for our main fighting squads, we do want to be 50-50 arty on infantry. If we are just going to defend entirely at the start, we would probably want to have more infantry, but we want to have a bit of a balanced kind of force for our main armies that we are setting up here. With that said, we do have several uses for cavalry, and did kind of want to highlight what we're doing here with the cavalry is we have kind of a standard looking 50-50 infantry cavalry landing squad, and this is our kind of normal looking landing squad where we are going to be 50-50 and they're actually going to be able to fight. We have some mobilization options that reflect that, where we are going to have supplements and supplies and transportation and these sorts of things, and these are going to be squads that we are going to look to just get in and then have them push a front after they've already developed a front, or at the very least with 20 battalions be able to hold on long enough for someone else to get there. This is opposed to kind of these squads that we have set apart that are 100% cavalry, with 3 cavalry units, whose only purpose is to land and then push when unopposed. If they meet the slightest resistance, they'll completely fold, and so what we have on them is just railroad transport, where they are just looking to push as quickly as possible, move as quickly as possible, and this sort of thing. The reason we have 3 battalions here is because if we do get a landing and we get any sort of front splitting, like let's say we land from behind here in Russia, we do want to be able to split the army and assign to as many different fronts as possible to get as much of a obnoxious push as possible, and so that's what we have these little blitz armies here for. And finally, the third army that we have made is an army that we are just going to be having for the purposes of borrowing troops. The idea here is we are using all of the mobilization possible, but the troop thing itself is not that strong. However, we can assign rapid advance. So what we can do is we can assign this to a front that we have another bigger, stronger army, you know, that's closer to this 50-50 infantry artillery ratio, that's going to be a little bit better, and just have them borrow troops off of that. This has been something we've wanted to experiment with for some time. The idea being is that we get access to rapid advance without needing to commit the bulk of our troops, which are being borrowed, to being 50-50 on cavalry, or at least 30% cavalry. And so this is an advancement. This is what we call our pusher army. The first hit is free, where its only goal is to borrow from other armies and use their troops in order to gain a bit of an advantage while still being able to do the rapid advance technique, which will help with battle occupation. We have also looked to slot in and change our companies a little bit. Most of the companies require you to have siege artillery or better in order to really be getting a bonus on them, but we have slotted in Frederick Troop, which is going to give us 10% kill rate. So we're going to look to have the casualties be incredibly high over the course of all of these wars that we are about to engage in, and we have just a little bit of time left. We are, if you noticed, recruiting up quite a bit. I think what we're going to do is we're going to look to have 2 200 stacks, 1 100 stack, This way we can kind of split them in a way that will feel kind of nice. The 200s can split into 100s, etc. And then we are also going to look to add a whole bunch of landing defense armies, which we will be adding shortly. But I think the bigger priority for us is going to make sure that we are recruiting enough ships to do what we want to do. All the ships are set to merge, but I think we need at least one 100 stack, and then look for it to have maybe one 20 stack, and then several 1 stack in terms of what our navy is going to look like here. For our power block, we are going to call ourselves Rome's successor, and I guess we can use the pointing man, which won't be controversial at all. The pointing man. Alright, so we still have a lot of preparations kind of going through. Our armies aren't ready yet. We don't have a lot of the recruitment through yet. But we said we were going to start the war before the end of the year. So we're going to get started. And by get it started, I mean we're going to say Atua. We spit in your face to the UK here. And then we are going to declare on in order to transfer this, because this is, oh, we don't have an interest here, rip the dream. That should have been the primary war goal. It could have been the primary war goal. Instead, we'll go for a rivalry, I suppose, and a little Atua, we hate you, and go for the diplomatic demand. I said the diplomatic demand. Why can't we start a play? Excuse me. There we go. Humiliation. And off we go. So this is the part of the play that's going to cause the rest of the world to hate us. Transfer the East India Company, which of course now they absolutely hate our guts. We have gone up to, oh no, it's 129 infamy, and we are expecting some plays incoming. Just wanted to note a couple of our armies that we are setting up. We have this reserve cavalry army. The Lancers stat line's not too bad, where we're recruiting another 20 infantry to go along with this. The main idea is we didn't want to delete all of our cavalry, and so we have these guys in reserve that we can splinter off for either the various purpose of creating landing forces or creating kind of these blitzy forces that we want to, you know, be able to put in. And we have started to put in landing defense armies, which we are putting very little mobilization options on just the chocolate and liquor for the most part, except for the one that is going to be defending the main HQ, which will be a 30 stack instead of a 20 stack, where we will be putting the whole shebang because our capital is in this HQ, and so this is the one that they will try and land. We will add an additional redundant kind of landing defense stack as things go along. Really expecting to see a massive kind of upswelling of hate towards us because, of course, we have also, anyone who has an interest in the UK also has formed a bunch of negative relations with us as a result of us gaining 120 infamy in the strategic region up here. I believe it pays based on where we started the play, which the play start was on the basis of the UK's capital, if I'm not mistaken, but in either case, people really hate us now. The USA decides they want a piece of the action and tries to cut us down to size. We almost clicked accept because we're silly gooses, but we of course click decline, and so we will have to decide on a primary war goal on the US, probably the taking of New York. We will have to make sure we have an interest in the region, which I don't think we do, but we will have some time to develop the interest before we need the primary war goal. For the UK, we saw that no one else really joined here. Was a little bit surprised to see that nobody else kind of wanted to join here. They of course put in a bunch more against us now because we've gone full baddie, but we will just conquer kind of the biggest, juiciest states out from underneath them, which is Lancashire, Yorkshire, Midlands, and of course, who could forget London herself. And this will be, I think, most of our maneuvers, maybe not quite all of them. Again, we're not planning on enforcing very quickly. Why don't we go for war reparations as well, because those will feel good, although they will basically join any play against us and void those war reps, so they're kind of useless. But this is what we'll go for them. For here, we'll look to take New York and Pennsylvania. Not that taking them is the point of this video, we're just kind of looking to see, can we fight this all at once, everywhere? We have proportioned out 200 total conscripts so far. and we are going to be raising them and assigning them to the front, looking to mainly be on the defensive here. We are only going to use people with expert offensive strategists in the defensive role. We are going to swap, for example, this guy who's expert offensive, we're going to swap him out to a new army, and we are just going to have almost entirely defensive planners here as best we can, so we have access to adamant defense. We're going to cycle through a few generals looking for more. We do have one guy who's set to push who has expert offensive planner. I suppose we could do that in here as well with this guy who's kind of in the wings looking for expert offensive planner, but we will look for a defensive planner. Although there's plenty of woodlands here, the woodland guy would probably be fairly good, so we'll hit set him to defense, and this currently is the main front. The UK has joined against us in the USA's play, as has Russia, and so this is the only land front, and so we're currently assigning everyone right there. We still have many armies kind of held back, looking to see what else unfolds, because of course, as soon as this play against the UK pops, we have to declare war on the very next person, who is going to be France, which is going to give us a big old headache, and at that point, we probably need to think about revoking all of our decrees, and in particular, setting down a whole bunch of enlistment efforts decrees. We are getting pushed in France in particular, so we will send the Balkan landing force over to defend the France front, as well as a little bit of extra juice. We are leaving the Navy in order to go push this, because if war reps is the primary war goal on any of these, which to be fair, they all have quite a bit more than war goals in mind, so it's not the biggest problem in the world, but we do want to try and actually, you know what, this is not going to be worth it. We can kind of ignore this because we don't care about that, because they can't enforce all the war goals. Instead, we're going to put a little bit of a sneaky, and we're going to land this. Now, this is not part of the Spanish War. It's not part of the Spanish War, which of course we did forget to put in more war goals, so we just have these 2 war goals, which shout out to us. We're not going to be continuing this run, so it doesn't matter. But this is a different war than Spain, so Spain can't defend this, so we are going to get a little bit of a landing here off the back, in the back on Spain, which is hopefully going to alleviate some of the pressure that we are currently receiving from France here. Now also, we don't have any war goals on Spain, so eventually Spain will decay out of the war. We do have to be very, very concerned, though, because North Rhine is the capital, and we will get enforced on if they take North Rhine. So, as you can see, Russia is having very significant problems. They have kind of reassigned guys, but look at this. Look at this. Look, 184. Now, some of these might be lying about where they are, but if they are all at this front, that is just a gross kind of misapplication of resources. We are leaving this front. We're saying, hey, we're out of there, smell you later. We've left this front already. I guess they're not even pushing into it, or it's just taking them forever. And this one, the 10 stack that they sent to deal with us, has not been able to catch this 2 stack, which is very fast with a combination of rail transport and being 100% cavalry, because it is proportional. So if you are half skirmish and half cavalry, you can actually fight, but you don't push quite as fast. If they ever catch us, we'll just leave and go somewhere else. And there's a bunch of open fronts. You can see this was a 3 stack. We're moving the 1 stack over here. China war is going to be a little bit tricky. I have no idea how we win this. We are moving a 39 stack over here, but that's to deal with a 250 stack. I just think that this is not possible to win against everyone all at once, which was kind of the test and maybe the interesting thing we wanted to look for here. We do see that, hey, is this navy too big for us to handle? If so, we got to get out of here, and it looks like it might be too big for us to handle considering we are losing this war. We don't have any flagships, so I think we're going to just say smell you later on this one and just not get the landing in, which does free up this guy to maybe bolster over here. This isn't the most ideal situation, but we have to try and figure out some way to get in on them. Actually, you know what? Looks like they might not be defending Occitania, so maybe we could just go for Occitania here instead with this stack that is looking to be able to apply pressure, and then in this way we can pull French troops off this front because this is looking particularly bad for us, even though we're on all defense, even though we have a bit of a stronger thing going on. And here we see our first front spaghetti, the consequence of them landing us. So we will make sure that we are equipped to deal with such spagoot, such ravioli. I think we want this guy staying there, and this guy, in fact, going over here. So we will reassign all these things, but we are losing kind of. And so I think that we will maybe be in a position where we're to say, hey, you know what? If we enforce on Russia, that's okay with us. So we're going to swap the strategic objective from here to Ingria. Now that we are almost at war with China, Russia is also not even one of the primary aggressors here, and our army does finally get caught here. This 2-stack is going to be in a little bit of trouble, so we'll just move them along somewhere else. If they want to push this out with 100 stack, they can be our guest. It is unfortunate we do get landed here, though. I think what we have to do is we have to rebring some of our navies back here and get ready for some very intense landing of our own stuff in terms of micro. This is going to be a little bit of a vibe, and so we'll move guys back in position. We still have this 21 stack of mostly cavalry just kind of ready to go here that we will be using to for whatever needs we have, and in this case it's probably going to be landing. Unfortunately, this isn't on a coast, so this is just, we're just hemorrhaging, getting stuck here. So I think what we'll do actually is, since Poland already got landed, let's move these guys over to try and stem the bleeding over here, which it's very bloody. We don't have anywhere near as much conscripts over here, so we probably need to apply a bit more pressure. We only have 16 cannon conscripts, so let's bring that up a little bit if we can, to a higher level, because it's supposed to be 50-50, and hopefully we can hold on over here. So the casualties are really ramping up for us. We currently have, 90,000 dead, 100,000 wounded. In this war, we have 220,000 dead, 270,000 wounded, so that's roughly 700,000 casualties so far. In this war, a much more modest 40,000 versus roughly 50,000. Really starting to get pushed in here, and we are going to have to keep trying landing in multiple spots. We're going to try and enforce on Russia as well, but things are not looking good. This total war against literal everyone is perhaps not sustainable. Why are we getting spaghettied over here? We do appear to be getting spaghettied. It looks like we maybe could hold this if we can conscript up fast enough, so maybe that's going to be nice. We do have another landing coming in. We're going to try again for this squad here, and hopefully, since these guys are distracted, we can get in, yeah, we're going to need to start splitting a lot more stuff, but that is going to help us out quite a bit, because we are now going to be able to conscript up a whole bunch more, and I think in particular, we're going to put them all in the squad that's right by our capital here. I think that's going to be kind of the decision, and we are just going to look to add a ton of conscripts on top of what we had before, which is, of course, it's got the bug where it doesn't add very well, so we will look to add mostly over here, because this is where we really need the help, and look to just kind of play, oh man, we're just like in such bad shape, look to kind of play some sort of defense. We got spaghettied a couple times when these fronts got pushed, which of course is painful, and also painful is the fact that we kind of really need this spot to hold, because this is all China went for. All they went for was Beijing, so yeah, we'll be in bad shape if they manage to push it. I think that maybe we can push this into China from here. Maybe this is a thing. Maybe this is a vibe, and we can look to try and pull China off of these kind of through creative pushing from the Russia front from above. That they cannot push into Russia, so they can push us to the border, and then we just unassign and then reassign back here and try and push from the north. Maybe that's how we can manage the China war up here. We put all the conscripts on the France front here, and now we have about 250 total conscripts. We also put a conscription edict down in Bohemia, because we have quite a few battalions recruiting out of Bohemia, so this will increase their ability to get going, and this also increased the enlistment efforts. Now, this didn't increase our total conscriptable battalion amount, but I do want the battalion, the battalions that have been conscripted out of Bohemia to come out faster and to come up faster, and so hopefully this results in a little bit of a sway of the advantage here for us. We are still at a pretty, oh jeez, the front's been spaghettied, the spagoot's been spaghettied. Catch me in my new Bugatti. Where are you assigned? Why are we we're actually minus 90 on this front? Because they have 2.5 times the amount of soldiers. Oh Jesus, this is not it. So we did get spaghettied and all of our units got unassigned from the battalions here, which leaves us in a really rough spot. I actually hope that these guys can be a little bit useful in regards to getting... they can't get to the front very fast. So they're going to have 7 days of pushing on us while we have 0 frontage. The most important critical thing is that we defend over here, which we are looking a little bit better at doing than we were before. We are 100% defense. I think we're also going to put in the tobacco too. We didn't have that in before. And so hopefully... Oh man, they're going to touch... Oh, they touched. Oh, we don't like that. We don't like that at all. So now that's going to spaghetti our fronts really hard as well. That these 2 fronts have kind of united. And look, it's 2 fronts. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, no. Oh, no, look at that. Gross. Alright, we're going to try and... Oh, that's so many different fronts. No, not like this. Alright, we're going to try and... The thing is this guy can assign to this front very quickly. He's actually assigned to this front, which is internal to their other front. But this guy can't get to here very fast at all. That's 66 days. That is gross. I mean, I guess we just have to assign over there and hope that he gets there, but we can't... so we're gonna have to move this squad to maybe... No, we can't use this squad. Oh, this is so bad for us, the spaghetti. The spaghetti got spagootied. So we're gonna assign here. We're gonna have as many guys on rapid advance as possible, and we're just gonna hope that we can get there first and push the front. Otherwise, I think this might be it for us. With the trajectory of how things are going. Things are getting harder and harder and harder, not easier and easier. Let's put in the things. They are on forced march, so maybe they can get something done. I think they get to, yeah, they get to the front before we do here. And so now, and what is this 128 stack doing? Go home, they're drunk. They are trying to move all the... Oh man, they have to whip it all the way around here. They have to go all the way around to get to there. Man, the way the front split is so painful for us. And we are defending against a 74 stack coming in, so we can't move this 15 stack. So all of our stacks are ISO'd back here. Man, this is fascinating. But, like, I think this is, like, cataclysmically bad. I don't think we recover from this particular arrangement of things. I don't think we have anything, like, really in the tank here to try and win this. I mean, we could watch it unfold, but... Alright, okay, first order of business is these naval bases aren't going to help us in an immediate fashion, so they could all go to the back of the queue. Because I do think we have more barracks, or maybe we're done building barracks. No. We just have some eco stuff. Stuff like universities, too, coming in, yeah. And then some barracks. But, like, I mean, like, the barracks aren't going to fundamentally help the problem, which is that these guys zigged when they should have zagged. If they were on the other side of the front, things would be tenable. They're not on the other side of the front. Things are completely untenable. Unless we can abuse them in a way that feels somehow similar to how we're feeling abused. I mean, we are trying to land Russia. If Russia gets binked out of this war, then we are okay. Or not this war. Which war is Russia even in? Russia's in this war. And this is for cutting us down to size. So this is maybe World War II, the ending to that was destined. We have... Oh, what is this? Our only war goal on Russia is Alaska, you say? So maybe we can do something where we try and get in on Russia specifically. We don't have any navies here. Oh no, we moved the navies back. That was a mistake in micro then. Or maybe they got spaghettied back, but we needed to land here. So let's try and land up here with the navy, with any navy. That's I guess the Balkans one is the closest, 13 weeks. And maybe we can get Russia out of this war. I think that's maybe the only solution, but they docked with each other. You can see France and Russia, so completely spaghettiing us to the dark side of the moon. Alright, so rather than waiting for our guys to go around, we are going to disband armies, which I'm not sure if this deletes all of our conscript, but by disbanding armies, they will teleport, because magic, we de-spaghetti, in some sense, these guys, and these guys are going to be moved to the main army north, North German conscript, which is going to be up here. Oh wait, let's disband these guys first. So we are going to be disbanding these guys. They are going to be moving to the main army, and we will just keep disbanding. Oh, it just lied to us where they went. So the first hit is free. We did mobilize these guys, and we have moved them to the front, and so we will be able to salvage this up here by having moved these guys on over. They do retain, of course, the 1 cavalry and the 1 infantry that they had initially, but now we will be rearing and ready to go, defending up here, which of course is the most critical spot, which is the capital. So maybe we can hold on here, but really not that much longer. We do have another really large army. These guys are coming around to move up to here, but maybe we can get something done by putting them... What we really need is to enforce on Russia. If we enforce on Russia, then maybe we can kind of figure something out here. We don't have any power block things here, and they are also de-spaghettiing here, so we don't know exactly how the fronts are going to look, but... Yeah, I think we'll just let these guys... we should just disband it and let it move on over. So we're going to say, hey, you will be transferred to the land D Germany, and you will be transferred here. These will go to the 25th German Army, which, where are you guys at? Where are you at, girl? What's your story? We'll teleport them over to China. Interesting. It's an interesting idea. It's a bold move, Cotton. I don't think we want to teleport them to China. I mean, this is the only way. The teleportation cheese needs to be done. Alright, in the time of the calamitous spaghetti, we have lost a ton of states here, which is really bad. We decided to move this 138 stack back to this to try and defend south. Down here, we are holding on to the capitals by just a breath. We are trying to push out from the capital to try and spaghetti them / reunite our fronts, because, you know, reunited and it feels so good. We got bricked from landing over here by the variety of guys. Really, one of the most critical aspects of why this is so difficult is that we do not actually have any means to land, because our navy is entirely frigates, which this part is okay, but they're not very recruited up anymore, or they weren't even at the beginning. We have nowhere near, like you can see here, 472, 70, 197. These cannot fight at all, so we can't brush aside the navies like you would normally be able to. If we had prepped this by having a 100-stack navy that was fully recruited beforehand, we could make so many more naval moves, but the AI is being pretty sticky about actually properly defending stuff. So we are here in holdout mode, where we are just trying to survive long enough for Alaska to get landed, Russia to lose all of their frontage, and then us move all of our efforts over to France. Now, of course, we have declared war on, you know, over here as well, because we said we were going to keep declaring wars, and then the USA has joined against us, which this hurts. We thought we were cool with them. We thought, you know, we were maybe friends, that we were buddies, that we were happy good times, but none of this is true. None of it is true, which is a calamity. In theory, we actually shouldn't put anything in on USA, because this just actually makes it so we have to enforce on USA, but I think that this is fine enough. We'll put in all the war goals here, and we are trying to land up here on Russia as well to force an enforcement on Russia, but this is looking bad. The time of the calamitous spaghetti. The spaghetti rises. The revenge of the spaghetti. Someone got spagooted, and it might not have been us this time. So we might be in a position to actually push here. So we're going to assign to the various, you know, fronts here, and maybe we can get something in where we can push before they can get to the fronts. I think that one of these guys is, yep, a very good pusher, and also their battalions might be suffering a bit as well too. They might be having some, you know, difficulties. Look at this. They've accrued a lot of damage. There's a lot of morale issues. If we take a look at all the casualties of all these wars, you know, this is just the France war, you know, around 300k each side. This is the small war which is, you know, just a little bit. This is kind of us wrecking China. I don't know how we're holding on China over here, but we are managing to prevent them from getting the war goal. Also, notably, one of these guys, this 39 stack, was not assigned to a front. That's because they got teleported away from China. Why don't we move them back over here? And, of course, the really big front, or the really big war, this is it, where we have lost or had in casualties around 700,000. And the most painful thing is we are just so close to triage, but we don't have triage. So this is particularly uncomfortable. We don't have any sort of tech advantage. We're just raw dogging it in here, trying to find a way to win this war, trying to find a way to hold on here. And we might have gotten spaghettied instead of them getting spaghettied, because the guy we assigned to a front not 2 seconds earlier, is he changing his mind? He is. What the frick, man? So this is very, very frustrating, because we were actually literally on the front. I don't know why he unassigned off of it, but this is going to be particularly bad for us. Yeah, I don't know why he unassigned from that. That bemuses me. I am left kind of scraping for some sort of understanding, but we are in a rat. We are in a cage like corner over here, and the only hope is this. But this hope is far off. I think that this might just be a little bit too slow for Russia to get bricked here. Let's check the peace. Yeah, Russia's not feeling it very much whatsoever in terms of white peace. So even if we occupy them, they still wouldn't be feeling it. But we are pushing here. I mean, we're winning here. Jesus. This is, I mean, I don't think I've ever tried to fight this much as once. And look! Salvation, perhaps. So we're going to split these guys up into two. We're going to put them on rapid advance. The other stack here, we're going to move down. And see if we can push the capital here. Which, if we can push Russia's capital, maybe we can get something in. But also, even if we can't push the capital, we can pull guys off of, you know, kind of where they were before. And so, this is, yeah, we're going to do this for both these squads. And then we have to find a new spot to land with these 3 stacks, which I think we can do just right here. We have this Black Sea. They're not doing anything about this squad, so we're just going to keep relanding back here with the hopes that maybe we can actually zig through here. Maybe we can zig through there. Like, we just push all the way this way. We also do have... Okay, they are actually... Wait. What front is he on? Okay, that's a reasonable front. But yeah, it is not looking good. Not at all. A ton of Russian troops, or just troops from the Russia army, have been diverted here from our landing, which is fantastic for us. It gives us a little bit of breathing room. We turned on in all of our armies, which maybe this is a mistake. I'm not really sure. We turned on first aid everywhere. So we have more recovery rate. So if we can last the next few minutes, we might be able to pull this off. Now, part of the problem here is we maybe shouldn't have activated over here, and maybe this is a little bit too much. Maybe it's a bridge too far. We have a 39 stack coming in. We have Krakow requesting that we reduce their, or increase their autonomy. We'll say yes. We'll say why not. We'll say sure, bud. And then this squad is now in. So now we're enforcing on Russia specifically. So Russia could get enforced on because we do have something of theirs. And so we see, hey, look, Russia's really willing to accept stuff. In fact, USA is pretty close to accepting white peace. Let's actually just double check that war. Let's double check the correct war, because their war support's at +26, so they can be ticks below 0 here. USA cannot be ticked below 0, and so what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to live. We're gonna have to survive in our little pocket, cornered like a rat in a trap, for another 13 weeks here, like this. So we're gonna keep trying to get landings in. We're gonna keep getting scuffed. This 28 stack, or this 26 stack, we almost certainly can't fight. Actually, we definitely can't fight it if they have that many man wars. So we'll just come off of this naval landing attempt, and instead try to land elsewhere. Russia really is truly the weak link here, though. So we're gonna try and land with this squad. We're gonna keep this other squad up here, because here, and this 20 stack can come back here. We don't need them there. Oh my god, we can't assign we can't assign them back over here, because it's completely scuffed. Our fronts are you know what's actually interesting though? France actually has us in a nice, they're holding us in their bosom, because the cut down to size war actually can't do anything while France occupies Ruhr and Rhineland, because they can't push through them, which is absolutely fantastic for us. They can push down here, and we're getting shellacked down here, but they can't push through here. We are also starting to experience a little bit of pain here, and look at this. A white peace deal. A white peace deal from France. From France, we receive a white peace deal. Yeah, we're not accepting that. Thanks to the deep bosoms of France, keeping us safe from Russia, I think we actually might pull this off. The main key thing is what happens here. If Russia joins against us in this war, we are screwed because they get to keep all their occupation. If they don't, because we had to declare on the Ottomans as well, if they don't, we just might have a chance here. We just might be able to do it. So, we have to keep declaring wars. There's nothing that says we can't encourage them to back down, though, so we'll go for kind of the standard oil states and a bunch of other states that we know are reasonably good here in the Ottoman Empire, and we just hope that they back... Oh, wait, what's this? We're getting enforced on. They took it. They took Beijing. Okay, so we couldn't have it all. We tried to have it all. We couldn't get it all. We will, at the very least, get enforced here. I think that... I can't help but shake the feeling that if we didn't put on first aid, we might have been able to pull it off over here, which is kind of a bit of a shame. We also probably could have micro-deleting some armies to teleport them over here, but now that this has happened, I don't think that there's a shot that we are able to avoid capitulating to Great Qing here. Fortunately, all they wanted was return Beijing. That's all they wanted. So now that we're perfectly surrounded, basically, we can't even do any sorts of landings, really, except for forces that are already external. So the South Africa army, they can... Oh, they can't even do landings. We are really hemmed in terms of what we can do. We have a boat, a Chinese army that's been ejected from China is now fighting out of Manchuria, and a dream, because we have this to enforce on Russia. We do need war reps, so now all we have to do is land right here, and then push into here, because this place is incorporated, and we will be able to enforce on Russia at a relatively decent rate. And on top of that, we have switched to having only one single general in all of our armies, dear Helmuth, advance here. And since we have the strategic objective, he should push here into Rhineland, and then he should push into Alsace-Lorraine, and then we should hopefully push into Lorraine. And if he pushes in that order, the bosom of France will defend us against the coalition's might. All the armies of the coalition can do nothing but watch as we just 1v1 France, more or less, because they aren't in that war, and so their troops are just standing around doing nothing because they can't push us either, they can't land us. This is all we have left, so this is what it amounts to now. Hopefully they don't intercept our navy and make us cry. If they do, we will just enforce on France, and then we will have to turn around and try and figure something out. The war with the Ottomans is about to pop, and France's diplomatic tour, what's that? We ain't do any part of that. But notably, Russia did not side with the Ottomans here. It was just France and Great Britain, which, you know, just France and Great Britain, definitely going to be manageable. We're still in pretty dire straits. We still have 0 convoys. We're still crying, screaming, and throwing up. But this is maybe one that we can kind of pull out a victory. But it'll be a Pyrrhic victory, because overall, our line would look so much better if we just actually ecoed up and actually, like, didn't just, like, shit the bed by declaring war on everyone. But this is the experiment here. We hate it, but it is what it is. Our dreams are dashed, everyone. Because it looks like they're marching all these dudes on over, all the way to the only front in existence anymore. And the UK is marching to occupy Alaska, so we will not be able to enforce unless this undefended land, you poor fool, you could have defended up here, but you chose not to. This East Karela is notably in a different strategic region up here. It's notably in a different strategic region up here. It is in Finland, so the guys that are defending Ingria won't be able to help, and so we might be able to just finish and push through. In any case, we're still just slowly making progress over here against France. Now, this is like catastrophic on like so many levels, because, like, I mean, we're just eating this, like, massive infrastructure penalty. And in fact, if we look at market access here, we are that actually doesn't look anywhere near as bad as I would have thought. But Days of Darkness, that's surely what we're, you know, experiencing. In fact, we won't help them out. Infamy increases. Woo! Knights of Waves, you mean the waves of troops? Oh, City of Plenty, the party, it's never gonna end. This is a party, and it's in, I was gonna say, well, yeah, this is a party of some sorts, but I think this is going to be it for Russia, because we can't take them below 0 unless we occupy the capital of the war goals. But here we are trying to get the war goals, although I don't think this works out with all these troops over here. Look at all this. The one situation where you can get Russia to defend this frontier is this situation right here. We're going to split these guys in half. Of course, I said of course. Oh, wait. Ongoing naval invasion? What do you mean, my guy? Okay. There we go. We're going to split them in half. And we're going to move one of these guys down here. We do need them to push Ingria specifically. And in fact, actually, let's just push them both down here. Because this Cariella up here is not particularly important. And in this way, we will be able to get through. Now, we're going to move these guys over here just in case we maybe have a landing opportunity. And do we finally manage to occupy this back? No, we're just still pushing it slowly. Forever and ever and ever and ever. Maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't. Maybe they'll teleport back, maybe they won't. If they don't, we will get to push Ingria. Man, it takes forever for these guys to walk on over. Please, please, for the love of God, walk on over. We could have had it all. We could have had it everything. And we were getting everything. We were getting it all. We're going to finish this war. We're going to deoccupy all of Germany. The Allies are not going to win. The Axis is going to be victorious. Oh, and we have Ingria. Oh, oh. We lagging out and crashing there. But now, if we take a look at the make peace little thing, we will see their war support is negative. They're over it. They're like, you know what? You've occupied the capital. You've occupied St. Petersburg. We call it Ingria. Now we just want to cry. We're just going to go home. We're going to take our ball. And by our ball, I mean all the German occupation. I mean all the occupation on Germany. I mean all the occupation on Germany. I mean all the occupation on Germany. No. Don't defend. What is this? Alright, well, we're going to have to maybe get a little bit creative here, considering they're starting to... They're not capitulating immediately, which is exactly what we wanted from them. And we were hoping to receive. So maybe we can try and get in this way. God, we can't land with anything. Primoria, Ingria front? Yeah, they're both on that front. They're not going to be able to defend very well no matter what, so we will just have to re-land the front. But of course, this frees up all this over here, hopefully, the China army, to be able to land up here and be able to make some sort of progress. So we're going to go for that as well. So eventually, one day, we will set our people free. And by set our people free, we're already making progress. Look at this, dudes. Now, here's the problem. If we take this state, the fronts will spaghetti. I think we can handle a front spaghettiing, but this is a cause of concern. They are barely able to support armies, though, so I suppose we're just really going to push into France here. The French troops are utterly spent, and now they're just falling apart like paper. They have, like, nothing left here. We almost accidentally pushed out into this other front over here, which wouldn't be the end of the world, because maybe we're kind of... Maybe we actually have to push out there. But we do have this army here. We're going to set them to advance because they were not previously set to advance. And we are going to set the strategic objective up there. We're not going to push Ingria here. We're instead going to push this one incorporated state. That way, if we land Alaska after this, we will just be able to get full occupation. Wow, are they really coming to bink our navy? Shout out to them. We will hide our navy out, and we will have these guys come on down and look to get a little bit of a push off. I don't think it's successful, but they are keeping a whole bunch of troops down here rather than them kind of moving to the northeast, so this will maybe be good for us, but we are going to push out here, and considering we're about to enforce on them, I think we actually do have to start pushing, or getting ready to push and start reoccupying the land that was lost, the land that was promised, but is now gone forever. But this, once we get this territory, that will be the end of the France war, because this is all we need to enforce on France, and I'm sure they are absolutely hating this. We are going after Mexico, as one does, but I very much doubt that, yeah, well, we'll just, they might even back down to this. We made a couple of stuffs primary. We could, it doesn't really matter what we take because we're not going to play out the rest of this run. But we're probably going to stop here if we do somehow manage to win this coalition war, which is looking pretty good for us. Now, I think that, look, they're offering a white peace here. They're offering a white peace. I think we have to just say no. I think that's not in the spirit of the thing. I think we have to land the UK and just eviscerate them. I think this is the only way. This is the only way justice will be achieved. We do have these guys managing to stave us off still, which is, of course, tragic. Oh, we get access to a bunch of our armies that were previously bricked as a result of, I guess, getting out towards France. Or they were completely unable to get to the point where they could access the sea. I thought they were trapped, but now this is Lorraine, and that is going to be a France a-tickin' real fast. They know they can't win it, so we could just put in for both of this, and bada bing, bada boom. That's France handled. Except they're not handled, because we still have another war with them, because they're in the Ottoman War, which works just fine for us, but we'll reassign to the front, and then we are on this front. I guess we actually don't have to push then. We don't have to push then, because we can just wait. Although it is very cute, now the UK is allowed to assign here. The UK is allowed to assign to this war now, because they are part of the Ottoman War. Or maybe they were allowed all along. So I guess we'll push into France once more as we are trying to, you know, complete this out. These guys are pushing the wrong thing. You're in the wrong place, my dog. Or is this incorporated? If this is incorporated, that counts. We just need to take a incorporated state. It doesn't matter which incorporated state, but this one starts out incorporated, so that's usually the one you go for in order to get Russia out of this. Although, yeah, if we get Russia out of it, then we can fight the USA and the UK fairly easily. We are in a little bit of a race against time, so we've started pushing in both directions to start liberating our provinces because the economic impact of the devastation is becoming too much. That combined with our sheer massive levels of conscription, it's just too much for the eco that we had kind of put together to be able to stand up to. So we're going to have to start demobilizing sometime soon. We maybe get this in on Russia here. We don't quite hit it in. But we can keep trying to do the various landings. We've landed over here. This has given the USA a front where they previously didn't have one, but we are trying to land over here. Oh my god, please no. Don't do it. Don't do it to us, USA. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't contest the landing. No. No. Please, God, no. 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 You can see we're running a shortage of, like, every military good at this point. There's, like, no good way for us to keep it in. I think we're just going to assign this guy to another front and hope he pushes that out. We're just going to resign this front. We might resign this front as well. We only have this 35 stack and this 20 stack here. They're just on defense, so it's a wonderful idea. How about not? Oh, well, okay, it's a wonderful idea. Who cares about one level? We are trying to... We do have 500 that are fighting the UK and France, so if we can enforce on France, then we can kind of finish it out. Really, we're just trying to finish this cut down to size war in a way that, well, I mean, they'll accept a white peace here, so in some sense we've won, except we lost Beijing, so it's a Pyrrhic victory if you call it that. But are they not opposing us, or are they opposing us? Is this a visual bug? No? We appear to have Germany here occupied. Right? Contested. Ah, the good old Navy's there, but they're not there. Well, we can't possibly beat that Navy, so we'll do this. And it visually looked like it was ours, and then we'll just say, just kidding. We didn't mean it. We meant that we wanted to occupy this. Oop. Let's cancel this one. We have a 1 stack here. There we go. 4 weeks. It takes 4 weeks to get back here. But all we have to do is land in that once. But this is... I mean... Oh, Jesus. We have to demobilize some amount of conscription. We have to demobilize something. We just can't. We can't keep it up. It's too much. We're also gonna delete down, I think, all of this. Oh god, this is so close. We're so close to being able to get it in. The problem is this kills all our industries when we do this too. This is like such a bad solution. We'll also get rid of education. Who cares about the kids in the future and all that stuff? We don't need universities. They need us to stop deleting them. I think we're gonna delete all the ones that aren't in the capital. Something like this. God, that's such a band-aid. It's like really not working. Let's also come down the decrees, all the enlistment efforts decrees that we had transitioned to over the course of time. We're gonna rake those back, and we're gonna instead put in a bunch of consumption taxes. God, this is such a like drop in the bucket relative to how much money we're owing here. We're gonna do this temporarily to be able to put in 2 of these and try and fight off the debt a little bit more. The problem is that this is the result, I believe, of less of us running out of money and more our credit limit is decreasing as our buildings become not profitable as a result of all this devastation. And so maybe this just isn't... we want to force Russia out because we've been trying to do that for forever, but I mean, maybe it's just a white piece and we call it. This is kind of... this rests on this Alaska play right here, I think, almost, because we can't continue to do this while occupied by Russia unless we just start deleting a whole bunch of armies. I mean, can we do that? Alright, we're gonna delete some armies here. Alright, we have the war goals necessary to enforce on Russia here, but we're also defaulting and there isn't a way for us to get out from under it outside of completely deleting down an enormous segment of our armies, which, to be fair, maybe this is exactly how we have to play it, but that would feel... we're going to delete down more. We've already deleted quite a bit of army, and the fact that Russia has to get out of here is, like, our only saving grace, but really we needed the turmoil to stop. And the only way for the turmoil to stop is for us to deoccupy all this, and so... we are in a really bit of a rough spot. And also, maybe we shouldn't even be pushing here. We probably shouldn't be pushing, because the second we deoccupy a front for the USA/Russia to get on, this is going to be particularly bad for us. But Russia is getting enforced down. They are losing war support. They are ticking below 0, and they will, you know, be out of here pretty soon. In terms of, if we look to get both of the things, they're at minus 37 though, so that's like not super close, and we are super defaulted. Are we? Yeah, we are super defaulted. So I don't know if this is... our troops are gonna start losing. They're gonna start getting pushed back unless we can figure something out. Oh, we can't land with the landing squad anymore. Is there a way for us to just delete, like, everything? Just completely full send, delete down enough army to just hold on to this. Alright, so we've been riding this bankruptcy in a whole lot of pain, and we are just now at the point where Russia is willing to accept these demands. It's just that Great Britain is not willing to accept these demands. They, of course, offer white peace again, but it is at this point that Russia is very likely to capitulate. And boy oh boy do they need to capitulate, because the UK is pushing back out of Alaska. So once they're out of Alaska, that'll be it. That'll be completely it. We have deleted all the army now, except for this little 9 stack and everyone who is internally locked over here, locked in battle forever and ever and ever and ever. I mean, we're slowly pushing France here despite our problems. And wait, why are we fighting the aristocratic revolt? Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's so good for us. We, of course, inherit our war for the war goals that are on the on them specifically. Did we not go for lowlands? Anyways, it doesn't matter too much. But that should actually be incredibly good for us in terms of being able to... I guess we outlasted them in terms of who got absolutely ruined by this war, like, faster. Look at our SOL. Look at our GDP. Like, this is absolutely like... This is the death spiral. There's no return. We, like, absolutely positively need this. Otherwise, we're just, like, completely screwed. And I don't think we get it here. I think they push us out. Man, it's so close, though. I mean, they accept a white peace here, so we can always just white peace, and then I think we're, like, fine, and, like, we can rebuild and, like, this type of thing. But I guess we're also pushing France here, so maybe we're okay. Maybe we're fine-ish? I mean, like, the amount of notifications we have and the fact that we've had no market access forever suggests that we're not fine, but maybe we're okay, except we're not. Alright, our bankrupted ass still's got some moves. We make a little bit of a land on the home counties, which is going to be enough to enforce them down. Then we will have to deal, of course, with their, well, we have to, hopefully they get enforced on before... Hopefully we can enforce on them before the revolution can, but if that is the case, then the UK will get enforced out of everything, France is falling, and then I guess we just turn our attention back towards Russia and then actually properly push Russia out, instead of this nonsense where we're getting bricked by this stupid 9 stack that keeps coming back for more. This USA 9 frigates that, like, stops our 1 stack, because of course that actually makes sense, and it isn't something we should complain about, but it is, like, it is a vibe. That should help us survive a little while longer in this bankruptcy mode. We're also decreasing our institution. Let's actually just decrease all these institutions just to try and hang on here. We're probably going to have to declare bankruptcy. This has been like an absolute total war that just breaks everything. But, look at all this. Look at all this. Transfer EIC, brothers. Transfer EIC, brothers. In fact, if we weren't so greedy, the greedy pigs we are, we would be able to enforce right now, except we want it all. We want to have it all because we had some other war goals over here. Now, we are having trouble maintaining this. Actually, oh, do we have to enforce now? Maybe we have to enforce now because we're just going to get pushed out here. I guess we just give up Guyana. This is fine. We just say, okay, you know what? We'll take this. We'll take this. We'll take the transfer of the EIC. And then look at this. Look at this. Our credit line has increased. No more bankruptcy for us, brothers. You know why? You know what gives an enormous amount of credit, my guys? You know what gives an enormous amount of credit? Look at those cash reserves. Those cash reserves gives us a line of credit enough that we are not bankrupt. We are going to get rid of the malice that is being applied. The malice that is being applied to throughput, I said we'd get rid of it. Now, that, of course, only actually punts them out of one war. It doesn't punt them out of all wars. I think we'll assign these guys over here to try and resist. We can't really do that. I mean, we've gotten to the coast here. We haven't gotten what we need on France in order to enforce on France, but we're about to with that one. So we have what we need from France here. So we are, this is the final salvo in which we are, like, actually enforcing on these guys and get the war done. And you can see here, now we have a ton of excess bureaucracy now that the throughput's been solved. We, of course, are still having enormous problems. We're having emotional troubles. These are truly the troubling of times. Oh, God, we want to, like, assign over here, but we can't. Actually, like, maybe we could just mobilize this, like, 3 stack that we received here for freezies, good dealsies, and hold on just long enough to enforce on France in this Ottomans war, because there isn't too much. And if we go for the 2 French things that are in here, I think they're pretty amenable to this sort of solution. So that means they're pretty close to just capitulating themselves, and we can actually put this in over here, and we will be enforcing on the UK. We're still not pushing over here. We're just defending, or I guess we're pushing a little bit, just the tip. But if you look at Germany, Germany's on fire. We left Germany. We ratted out to hide in the little corner, hide from Russia, hide from the alliance. But now we're finally, like, breaking through. We don't need any of this busted up stuff over here. Look at our GDP. Even our GDP's recovered, of course, because we don't have that massive throughput malice over there. Hopefully our guys can get there in time. Hopefully our boyos can get there to do work. And by work, I mean dirty work. By wet work. Oh, man. I think we do it. I think we have it. Oh my god, that gave me a panic attack where, like, the occupation wasn't showing. Because I was like, what? We were occupying them. What happened? We will merge this navy that we picked up from the UK with our other navy. And why can't we do this? Because they can't reach it. Someone's been Shadow Realmed. Okay, fair enough. Not just Shadow Realm, Shadow Navy. Well, we'll disband you, and then we'll have you merge on top of here. Ah, you've been Shadow Realmed. Okay. These guys have been Shadow Realmed. So we'll just disband them, and they'll merge with someone. Someone's... eventually, we'll be able to merge the fleets, or we'll just have to delete everything. Alright. We'll merge them over there. And so we will have that bigger fleet. And the thing is, we're currently at war with Mexico. So in order to get in on the USA, we actually won't fight the USA. We'll fight Mexico instead. We are fighting this revolution, though. I'm not sure if we inherit the revolution's war as well if we fight the rev out here. The UK, of course, is having to deal with that as well. Our front gets spagoodled. Our spaghetti gets spagoddled. This is not ideal. It's more important that we actually... Well, actually, Russia's going to have a bit of a time to get here. Why don't we just do... I want to just ignore it. I want to just ignore it, but we can't do that. That's how we lose. That's how we lose it all. So let's just send half this way. And let's have those guys stay on the France front, and these guys just defend against Russia. And Russia's going to assign a whole bunch of the guys there. But that means maybe they won't give us such a bit of a headache over here, and we can actually do things over there. But I don't think we need to anymore with the enforcing on the UK. Oh, that's going to be a big one, too. We get breach loitering artillery. We might want to swap in the companies that, like, enforce on that. But there we go. Wait, we enforced on the USA? Wait, what? They just decided they wanted to give up Bama. Well, you know... I can respect that. I can get that. I can get behind that. Can we teleport an army to Alabama? Maybe we can? We need it to join the 36th German army. I think that's maybe a little bit too much micro, and we'd rather just land Mexico unless the USA has specifically a war goal that can be enforced here. They wanted to do cut down to size on us. It's not looking like they're going to get that. We can put this in here. They're going to push East Anglia and then into Great Britain, and so we're going to get all the British Isles stuff. So even though this looks bad, it's really not too bad for us in terms of this stuff over here. So I think we're in fine enough shape. So we have bankrupted, but so is the USA, or we have defaulted at least. Either way, we are pushing in over here on the UK, so this will free up the default once we gain access to that sweet, sweet credit limit from annexing these territories here. And they are not in good shape to oppose us, despite our penalties to offense and defense, especially the revolution here. It looks like we will be enforcing on these guys, get Lancashire, Yorkshire, and Midlands relatively quickly here. We just have to finish pushing in, and with a 92 advantage. The only thing is, wait, what happened to our spagoots? Bro, this is the worst front spaghetti I've ever seen. We got trapped. Oh no. Well, these guys land defense Poland. That's not the right thing. Okay. Well, maybe we actually just lose then. I thought we were fine, but the front splitting in that way is very, very not good for us because our capital is right here. So we have to Russia's now given us the business, and we notably can't assign the front over here. Oh, we can assign over here. Perfect. I guess we do that after we push them out. Do we greed for the push? I mean, I think we at least have to push this. Oh, this one battle is so close here. I mean, these guys are almost to the front. The thing is if they get pushed before they get to the front, this is really bad. Before this battle ends. Okay, they get to it. So, they can, in theory, hold on here. I think we might have to delete down a bunch of army. We might have to delete a bunch of armies in order to teleport some armies back here. To try and hold the last bastion again. Wow, this is like... This has been tight the entire way through. Alright, so we split an army over here and transferred the other army over to this front, the pocket, the last bastion of defense. we have come back, and look, we can even push with this absolute mad Chad. This is really kind of the power of, we don't have way better tech than them. At this point we do, because we did get shrapnel artillery, but we have, you know, all of our generals are particularly good. This guy, expert offensive planner, and supply requisitions, expert, really nice. Brave, I think, is also not too bad. Morale loss, yeah. Fair enough, but this guy is going to, or collectively, I think we hold here. We're pushing out a little bit here, and we are pushing over here, so we should be able to get it in, and that's probably going to be the enforce on the UK. This enforce is going to be, oh wait, this we just have. So we have conquer all this. We take the bag, as one does, and then we will see if we can try and get anything done with... So we had a little bit of a secession movement here, which is kind of an annoying thing, but that means we'll just get another landing opportunity because the USA doesn't occupy them. I think with this 88 stack, what we will do is we will land in Tejas, or... We will eventually get Tejas. We're going to try and see if we can land... Oh, this is like such a big landing disadvantage. We're going to try and land someone, though. Actually, no, we're just going to play it tight. We're going to push over here, make sure that we have fronts controlled, and like not get too crazy, because I think we are enforcing the UK out over here, and we do enforce for the rest of kind of like the bag, and then why are we still occupying the UK here? Are we fighting them in even another war? Okay, I guess we will make sure that we grab everything off of them, in which case it's good that we left the troops behind. Once this, there we go, we get East Anglia. I think that might be the last, that is the last of it. So I think what we're going to do, proper German land, by the way. Oh man, are we still bankrupt? Are we still defaulted? Yikes, yikes. Okay. Alright, I think this is it for Russia. I know we've said that like a million times. They're pushing us in this last pocket. So is the USA. We're in default. USA's in the default. Russia's the only kind of one left standing. And we have finally hit max org. And they are not defending this at... Oh, wait, they are defending this. What gives? Dogs. Did that army just teleport there? Did we just not have eyes? Donde estás los ojos? Oh, I thought we were getting in there for freezies, good dealsies. Oh, this is not how we drew it up. This war is so hard. Why were you in so much pain? Why are we still here? Just to suffer? This is literally the most brutal war we've ever had. Let's cancel this and see if they were just kidding about defending, as they often are. They're like, hey, we're gonna go back to the front, we're so slow, we're so stupid, we're Russian, but we're not in a hurry, get it? And another one teleported back. That guy was not there before. Homeboy was not there. That's not okay. That's not okay. I mean, we could beat that army, but... I guess we just land this 80 stack up here, and we look to actually just push down. Because they don't defend up there, and we are fine here. We're fine. All of this is fine. It's not our entire homeland being on fire for the last 5 years, because it's been completely occupied. Have you ever seen 100% devastation all over the place? I didn't think so. Look at this. Our economy is non-existent. Just everything's dead. Nothing's going well. We're just crying, screaming, throwing up. We are going to lose to the Confederacy, because I guess that's just what you do these days. I mean, there's nothing we can do to really stop them at this point, but we are going to try and land up here, because it's not the capital, they're not defending, although I guess maybe they could just teleport more troops back. To be fair, we teleported troops, so I guess all's fair in Victoria 3 warfare, and so we are going to get in here, farms to factories, roads to progress. This doesn't look like progress, this looks like progress of a kind. I guess we'll go for loyalists. I guess our SOL is finally coming on up. What's going on here? How did you lose organization, my guys? Well, once our organization gets to 100, the landing will get in immediately, and then we will assign these guys to the proper front, because they auto-assign to the northern one, but this is kind of the easiest province to land in, and then we will designate the strategic objective as Ingria, and so that should be it. And in the meantime, where did our army get spagoodled? What the? We got spaghettied. We got spagoodled somewhere. This guy is here. Where's the other army that was here? There, you're stationed at the Poland HQ now. Got it. As one does. Can we teleport you to Land Defense Poland? No. So I guess these guys are stuck in a 1v1 for now. Are we losing this? No, we're winning this. We're winning that. Okay. Now it's a little bit of a race against time, except they're going to pull troops off this front in order to make this work. I also think, since this guy's in Poland, that should mean he should be able to assign over here. So we will assign over there. Just to make sure that push through happens. And so this should further alleviate, hey, we liberated one German state after, you know, letting it burn for all of eternity. The fires, they dig deeper into our eye holes as we desperately wait to be able to conclude this war so we can conclude this video. But alas, we cannot push here because of reasons, which is our least favorite reason, the reason. I mean, we could just try and just bink a bunch of landings up into the north here. We have no more cavalry. We deleted it all so we wouldn't, like, go bankrupt, except for, apparently we didn't. The little cavalry that could, the cavalry from the UK, the cavalry that was meant for us. Surely we get in now. Yes, we do, and stop calling me Shirley. So we're going to try and liberate a bunch of our stuff so that we can actually try and repair our economy somewhat. We have a huge navy now, a 73 stack here. We do enforce on Mexico, which is super cute. But, oh, and of course our units get teleported away. These guys are now in North Germany, which means, can we assign here? We can assign here. But it means that we can't assign over here, which kind of sucks, I guess. Except we're going to get work done over here. The landing is hopefully going to get in really quick here. And then we are going to put everyone on rapid advance to liberate. This is the liberation of Germany here. From the clutches, the foul clutches of foul circumstance, we will push in. We will not be... Oh yeah, we don't need to wait for organization because we have 25%, but that's our max because we're all artillery and Lancer army. This is the worst army in the history of armies, but it was the best army in the history of armies. And now we can split these guys in half and just keep doing this some more. Where we are going to be able to do 8 combats simultaneously and liberate everything. Wow, all defensive strategists. Does something make you spawn defensive strategists? Do you spawn defensive strategists when you're occupied? Not like this. The truth hurts. The game's trying to send us a message. Maybe you should defend better, my guy. I don't want to be, you know, pointing fingers or stuff like this, but you did give away your country for like 5 years to be fully occupied forever and ever. And I think that we could even recover out of this bankruptcy hole with this situation. Oh, no. Stop. They moved like 5 troops there. No, what a world. 5 troops. We can't possibly fight 5 troops. It's more than 5 troops now. I think that we're just going to move these guys to a different front, and we're going to continue to try and land here. And we are going to try and liberate all of Germany in this way. And hopefully we can get something done. Hopefully these guys get to the front in time, and we can make it work. This is embarrassing. We just got landed by the Ottomans. We haven't had a landing defense squad in like forever, but the Ottomans get in on us and land us. The truth hurts. This is the most embarrassing thing. We were starting to get back our country, and then, you know, the Ottomans went and landed us. We are technically slowly pushing into the capital over here, and we have on the USA over here a push. If we start another war, we'll probably end up having to fight France again, so we're not going to start another war. This has been enough madness for one go. They notably don't really have much of a defense here, of a defensive squad, so I think once we free up one of these 60 stacks by the fronts de-spaghettiing, we'll maybe try and push them. Man, look at this devastation, though. Look at this. Just the absolute ruination of our nation. We are pushing in over here, albeit slowly, because our guys are deciding to push the wrong spots, which it does happen sometimes. We have a new Angolan uprising, of course, as one does over here. Trying to intercept. Stop battling and intercepting, my guy. We want to use you to land a squad. Well, I think that this is I think that it's no longer ambiguous, though. We are gaining too much progress here. You know, deoccupying our... Oh, actually, we are trying to land up here, which may be a little bit more important, to deoccupy all of our lands, which is going to be really great for us, and then we will finally be able to continue on our merry way. I think maybe we should have landed them, the Ottomans here. They will accept a white peace, so I guess that's something, but they are starting to contribute to front splintering, which we do not like here. Is this going to be enough? No, we don't have Ingria yet, but it's just a matter of time here before we liberate all of Germany once more. This is it. The final pushes. We're pushing into Virginia right here, snaking our way to DC. That one is actually operating kind of as intended, and we are pushing into Ingria here, through here. Now, we hope we don't get bricked here. We're probably going to get bricked. We're probably going to get spagoodled, as one does. But where's our 2-stack? We had a 2-stack. We were clearing out a whole bunch of this kind of Germany here, where we are liberating everything. We have this 90-stack, which is pushing at a decent clip here, but they have to push through several states in order to get up there. Where's this guy exactly? Precisely. It's just an 18-stack there, man. We hate to have to like split for like stuff in a weird way, but I do think we have to deal with this here. Which is unfortunate. So much micro in this war of like splitting guys when like we really don't want to have to, but this front has to be addressed, otherwise we're just gonna get pushed out. So we're getting them in over there, but the USA is now experiencing a need for a front as well. So we see that this 30-stack is, of course, bricking us here. If we click the half button, oh, the half button works this time, so we're going to use the half button. We're going to move one of these guys on over, and we're going to look to get our push on, because this is it. This is the last little bit, and it will just take one battle. We know they're bankrupt. I mean, everything up here is red, but this looks like the final little tidbits of this war, the final little showdown. We are fighting the Ottomans, and honestly, we don't have like the resources to properly fight the Ottomans here. So it's leading us to have some pretty significant troubles on top of the troubles we're already having, but the restoration of like these areas starting to reduce in turmoil, or devastation rather, is a super big deal for us. Now turmoil, that'll come later. To be fair, maybe we just like abdicate pretty cheekily to just about anything that comes in order to get rid of like the enormous level of radicalism that we've accrued over the senseless violence and war. We of course did forget to land down here after all. And now we're gonna get punished for it. We're gonna lose this territory, which, to be fair, we just shook Brazil for anyways, so it's not that big a deal. And we get that. Oh my god. Thank you. Oh, it's so magical. Enforcement on Russia has been achieved. Believe, conceive, achieve. You can do anything you set your mind to, except for not lose. Jesus, look at the devastation. So much devastation. We have done it. We've completed what is probably the craziest war we've ever done in Victoria 3, with the last little bit of enforcement we have on the USA. We have these three other wars, but they're really like kind of nothing burger of type of wars. They're really not particularly consequential. In fact, I think why don't we you know, revoke German claims? We'll give this up. I'm pretty sure we could white peace out of the other two, and they'll be fine with that, and we will be able to see the wreckage that, well, I mean, yeah, let's just white peace. We could obviously win these two wars at this point, but we will just end the wars. We will say, you know what, we've had enough. That was the war to end all wars. The wars are over now, and we will look in the... Look what we got for ourselves. To be fair, like, we got a big chunk of this. But this is how not to fight wars in Victoria 3. Although we do have the EIC as well, which is a bit of a feather in our cap. Going high infamy is definitely strong, but you should never try and fight everyone at once. Otherwise, you're gonna maybe be in for a real bad time. And now it's time for the healing process. Let's look at all the damage that's been caused. Well, first of all, very, very little market access as a result of the devastation causing negative infrastructure. If we take a look at the GDP, our GDP at the start, I think this is where we like started, roughly right here. So it's just been catastrophically bad, except for the brief ramp-up period before the first war, or as we were ramping up into the wars, before we started having just way too big an army to handle. If we unpause, as all this recovers, we should start making money again, and then as we... Oh, okay, well that works too. The Great Crusade is formed, obviously in response to what we've done here. But we just barely pip not being defaulted anymore off the back of buildings, so we didn't actually gain money in that round, and what happened is buildings suddenly became profitable. I wonder why, when they were previously not profitable, and cash reserves increased, which increased our debt limit, and if we look here, our credit limit should keep increasing more and more and more, and so we should be in just fine shape. Our credit limit is 58.8. If we wait another tick and we start to recover some more. I said if we wait another tick. Do we have to do this? Just kidding, it went down, absolutely destroying our ability to explain something. But in the aggregate, it should be going up. Also, we have way too much bureaucracy, but this was always the plan, which is that we were reducing our expenditure by quite a bit in order to have much less of a turbulent time here. We absolutely eviscerated the UK, which, if we take a look at Prestige, I don't even know if they're... they're not even front page anymore. The UK is just kind of, they're a minor power here, which was kind of the results. We also transferred the EIC. A lot of the war goals we used in 3 wars were all on the UK, and so that's kind of how we ended up with all this stuff going on. We did enforce a little bit on the USA in some of these wars, but overall, we finally... Oh, the GDP is almost back to where we started, which was, I think, 71 million is what we started on, and so this will be fine. We definitely could have recovered into fighting the Ottoman and the Japan wars, but I didn't want to prolong it, and I didn't think those would be as interesting as the main cut down to size war. Anyways, this has been a very interesting episode for me, fighting like these huge wars. Normally we just stay low infamy. If we had just stayed low infamy, we would have a way bigger GDP right now, and we would have been able to annex guys along as we went. Maybe not like kneecap Britain as hard, but like low infamy would have been so much better than what we did here. But you can fight, you know, a world war as Prussia, starting as Prussia, with a kind of medium-ish optimized start. You can just fight everyone, it appears, just 15 years into the game. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I think we already said that. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, you know, YouTube algorithm stuff. And other than that, never start a war like this ever in your runs. This was terrible.